Hello, my name's Simone. Welcome to my channel. Glad to have you here. My channel looks at my weight loss journey over the past 14 years, and that has involved changing my diet, increasing my activity levels, and more recently using a GLP-1 medication, Mounjaro. I've also got a physical disability. My arms and my legs are shortened as a consequence of thalidomide. So mobility and daily activities are more difficult for me. But as I've learned, there's no excuse for not being able to lose weight. I had to prove that to myself. I'm planning a series of short videos to explore what happens after GLP-1s. Mounjaro doesn't give us all the answers. It gives us the tools to lose the weight initially, but in order to maintain our weight loss and keep the weight off, we need to learn how to modify our behaviour and change how we are around food and eating food. The advantage for me is because I've been losing weight for 14 years and I haven't been able to rely on exercise to do that. I have developed those skills and I'd like to share them with you. Some of them might help you. I hope so. So here goes. This first introductory video will look at life after Mounjaro. What happens? How will we navigate life without the drug? Or if we choose to take the drug on a reduced basis, longer term, we still need to identify behaviours around overeating, food choices, and our health choices generally. My weight loss journey started in 2012 and I lost 4.5 stone in 2 years by logging everything I ate and drank and calorie counting. Now, if you've ever tried calorie counting, you may think you really don't want to do that. However, what calorie counting and logging my food did was give me a huge insight into just how much I was eating and how many calories I was eating. And I soon realised I couldn't carry on eating the quantities and the foods I was eating. I had to make some choices if I was going to lose weight, and I had to continue those choices if I wanted the weight to stay off. Over the past couple of years, my weight had gradually started to increase. I'd gained over 2 years about 2 stone, even though I was continuing to calorie count, I was continuing to log my food. As far as I could see, I wasn't doing anything different. However, I wasn't prepared to let my weight go back to 14 stone. I am only 4'8" tall, or should I say short. I'm not a tall person. My activity levels are compromised because of my disability. So I know that I have to concentrate fully on my food intake in order to get my weight down and to maintain my weight. I suppose as a sort of attempt to see what difference it would make, I thought I would give Mounjaro a try. And it was after a lot of research and conversations with people who knew about weight loss drugs that I took the decision to give it a go. That was 7 months ago, June 2025. And since then, I have lost 2 stone and got down to my goal weight, which was 8 stone 13 or 57 kilograms. I want to explore with you the tools, the behaviours and the mind shifts that I have accepted will become part of my life. And once those changes just become embedded in our everyday, the whole journey of weight loss and maintenance becomes so much easier. Once we stop fighting against it and once we stop seeing weight loss or reducing our food intake as some sort of punishment, then suddenly the journey becomes a lot smoother. If you think you'd enjoy this series of videos, then please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and you'll be notified as soon as I upload any new content. So in this first video, I explore why GLP-1s alone are not the answer. Our goal weight isn't the finish line, and for many of us, that is where our journey really begins. What happens next? What happens when the drug that has been quietening the food noise and suppressing our appetite isn't there to help us anymore? So this series isn't about dramatic before and after photographs. It's not about the numbers on the scale. It's definitely not about telling anyone what to do. I am simply going to share with you the things that I have done and the things that have helped me on my journey. So this is for people who may have used or are using a GLP-1 or some other sort of weight loss medication in order to help them lose weight. And now we're starting to think about sustainability and real life. How can we keep this weight off? Food, habits, emotions, all of it needs to be unpacked and explored. And we need to relearn behaviours and change our whole mindset. We'll have celebrations and we'll have setbacks. So we're looking at the whole journey. So whether you're using a weight loss drug long term, whether you're reducing the quantity you take, or whether you've come off it altogether, one thing is true. Our behaviours around food don't magically disappear or alter. I want to give you some context because I think this part is quite important. I've been on my weight loss journey for 14 years. I'm 63 years old, and I was born with a significant physical impairment as a consequence of the drug thalidomide that my mum took when she was pregnant with me. As a result, I was born with shortened arms and shortened legs, and I've only got 3 fingers on each hand and no thumbs. My impairment already means that life is more difficult for me, doing the everyday things that people have to do in order to live, such as getting washed, getting dressed, housework, caring for my child, and getting around. So walking and moving takes me a lot more effort and energy than it does another person. For me, walking raises my heart rate to about the same level as it may do for somebody else jogging. But I could walk, and I did walk. And then in 2002, I had a head-on car crash. I was driving, I was in France, and I was on the wrong side of the road. Okay, don't judge me, it's easily done. It wasn't the first time I'd driven in France. I'd driven up and down to the south of France a number of times to visit relatives who lived there. But this car crash resulted in life-changing or life-altering injuries. I broke my leg, which in itself wasn't a serious injury, but the recovery wasn't straightforward. I was off my feet for a total of about 3 years because I can't use elbow crutches. I couldn't walk. My leg was in a plaster cast. I started to use a wheelchair to get around outside of the house. A wheelchair had not been part of my life before that moment. But my leg didn't heal properly, and 2 or 3 years after the accident, I was faced with the decision of needing an ankle fusion surgery, which, if anybody's had that surgery, it's pretty horrific. They disassemble your ankle joint and bolt it all together with numerous screws so that you lose the ability to lift your foot up and down. It did affect my walking, it did affect my balance, and it certainly severely impacted on my already very limited mobility. At that point, I recognised and accepted that a wheelchair would become part of my life. My activity levels dropped considerably from the moment of that accident. But what didn't happen was the amount that I was eating. I didn't reduce that. I carried on eating as I had been. But I wasn't burning the calories anymore, so the weight started to pile on. And within 3 years, I had gained a significant amount of weight, which was further impacting on my mobility. I didn't reduce my food intake to match my activity levels because nobody really explained to me or showed me how to do that or why I should do that. In fact, I was just surviving at the time with my life compromised as a result of the car accident and trying to bring up my young daughter, who was just 4 years old at the time that we had the accident, and she was in the car. Thankfully, she wasn't injured. Mounjaro buys you some breathing space. It takes away that food noise and it reduces your hunger and allows you time to develop new strategies, new tools and new habits that hopefully will reduce the amount you eat moving forwards, change how you eat moving forwards. What Mounjaro doesn't do is tackle the root cause of overeating or unhealthy eating habits. We have to do that without the support of the drug. By supporting the weight loss, by losing weight consistently, it gives us time to start looking at how we were eating, what we were eating, and try to make small changes that can be just incorporated into everyday life that mean moving forward, the weight will stay off. Because weight loss maintenance isn't just for a few days or a few weeks. It can be for years. And certainly in my case, it's for life. Use the time that Mounjaro has given you wisely. Change the narrative that goes on in your head, and it went on in my head. The belief that we can't do this, that we're useless, that we'll never lose weight, that we'll always be big. And it's not our fault that we can't move more. It's not our fault that we're always hungry. It's not our fault that we enjoy food. Change that narrative to, I can do this and I will do this. I want to be healthier for my family. I want to be healthier for myself. I don't want to develop long-term ill health. I don't want to have to take medication for a perfectly avoidable illness. I can learn to respect food and to take care about what I'm putting into my body. Food shouldn't just be about fueling your body from one meal to the next. As you lose weight, however you're losing weight, whether it's through good old calorie counting or some strange diet or meal replacement, as you lose that weight, your body will need fewer calories and you need to adjust to that, because once you're at your goal weight, those calories remain lower. You cannot go back to eating the same number of calories as you were when you were carrying around 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 stone more. You can't do it. Your newer, lower daily calorie allowance is your new allowance forever. If you go beyond it, the weight will start to come back on. Your calorie consumption needs to be adjusted to take account of your new, lighter, fitter body. Movement will be easier. It won't be such an effort anymore. And you may find you actually enjoy exercise. And this was a huge eye-opener for me. I never believed there would come a day when I could say, I enjoy the exercise that I'm doing. Now, it doesn't have to be in a gym. You don't have to take up running. It can be something as simple as going for a walk around the block or a walk out in the countryside with your family. Perhaps you like dancing. You could take up some dance lessons. You need to find an activity that you enjoy, that is sustainable, and that you can incorporate into everyday life. A little amount of exercise regularly is far better than punishing yourself at the gym once a week. Start to look at the quality of the food that you're putting into your body. Start to look at the ingredients and the labels on food and learn what some of the words mean. It's been a huge learning curve for me. And there are certainly foods that I avoid at all costs now, such as rapeseed oil. Olive oil is the only way forward with me. Olive oil and butter, preferably from grass-fed cows. Try new foods, find new recipes, try out new flavours, try out new ingredients, try foods that you've never eaten before. I loved cooking, I've always loved cooking, and I actually learned to turn around the focus of my food away from just cooking food with lots of cream and all the other things that make it unhealthy, to finding some healthier alternatives, incorporating more vegetables into what I was eating. I've always loved vegetables, and it's very easy to put vegetables into every meal in all kinds of disguises. We all have those favourite recipes and those favourite meals that we return to week after week, you know, whether it's the spaghetti bolognese or that lovely chicken curry or that quiche that your nan gave you the recipe for. But there's so much more out there to discover and find. And now with the advent of social media, I'm sure, like me, you've seen all those recipes pop up for quick and easy food ideas. And there's nothing nicer than trying something and discovering a new recipe, and suddenly that new recipe becomes one of your favourite meals. Sweet treats, we all enjoy them. But why not find some alternatives to the bars of chocolate or the cake or the donuts or whatever is your sweet treat? My favourite sweet treat at the moment is some chia seeds mixed with some frozen berries, like usually raspberries or blueberries, and some full-fat Greek yogurt. I mix it all up in a glass and leave it to set in the fridge. I really enjoy that. It's not too sweet, but it's full of protein and fibre, and it hasn't got any added sugar, so perfect for that quick sweet fix. I've also been making some puddings with cottage cheese. Now that may not sound appealing, but cottage cheese really is just like cream cheese. I've been making some apple and cinnamon baked puddings in the air fryer using cottage cheese, chopped apples and cinnamon, and a bit of oat flour. Again, full of nutrition, designed to release your sugar slowly so you don't get the huge spikes and troughs in your blood sugar levels. And another thing I've made, and I featured it on my blog, are sweet treats made with chickpeas. Now, who would think that chickpeas could go into a chocolate truffle or millionaire shortbread? I've made both of those things using crushed chickpeas and some dates for sweetness. Again, quite calorific, but actually the nutritional value of the ingredients is much better for me than that bar of chocolate or that donut or that piece of cake. And I can still enjoy my sweet treats. This is my new food excitement. Finding new recipes, adapting recipes I find online, trying them out on people I know with varying degrees of success. Some of them have been repeated, many of them have been repeated, and some haven't. But this is my new excitement. This is where I'm putting my energy into now. Instead of planning meals outside of the house, we eat delicious meals at home. I don't feel that eating out offers value for money anymore. Food prices in restaurants and pubs have risen significantly after COVID, and the quality of the food on offer is often not great. I really resent paying £20 for a main course meal that I feel I could have done better myself, and it would have been nutritionally a lot better for myself. I often look at the calories and nutritional information on menus, and I can't really justify having a meal that's well over 1,000 calories when my whole calorie allowance for the day is just over 1,000 calories. I just can't afford to eat out. My calories don't allow me to. But I like eating in. I like my food. My partner likes my food. My family like my food. So eating in is fine. Start to develop some new tools and new habits around meal planning, food shopping, making sure that you eat at regular times. That's really important. If your blood sugar's slumped too low, then you turn to the quick fixes that are often around you: the bread, the toast, the sandwiches, the cakes, the chocolate bars, the crisps. If you've got something that's nutritious and ready to go, then it's there waiting for you, and it's far better for you to eat if you can. I know not everybody can, but eat at regular intervals. Keep your body fueled. Don't allow the post-food slumps that often occur when you've eaten something that's quite heavy in carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are fine, but you need to mix them with other things when you eat a meal. Otherwise, you will experience that post-meal slump as your sugar levels drop low. So eating regularly and trying not to eat on the hoof. If you're looking to grab food that's quick and easy from around you, they often won't be the best choice of food. Take time to enjoy what you're eating. It's much easier for me to sit at a table to eat because of my disability, but I love sitting at a table and talking with my partner over a meal that I've taken time to prepare. Get your support network in place. People who know what you're doing, are supportive of what you are doing, and who want to help you achieve your goal. Distance yourself from the saboteurs, the people that encourage you to indulge, the people that say, go on, have a dessert, I'm having one. Go on, have that extra glass of wine, you've only had one. Distance yourself from them. However good your support network, however reliable they are, they may not always be there for you. So you have to learn to become your own greatest cheerleader. Don't do it out loud, because people will start looking at you thinking you're a bit crazy if you start shouting out to yourself, I can do this, I will do this. But let that narrative happen inside your head. Just remind yourself about why you're doing this and why you want to have that healthy body and why you want to eat healthily. You want to do it for your family, and you want to do it for your continued good health, and you want to do it so that you won't regain all of the weight that you've worked really hard to lose. Food will always be there, and food is to be enjoyed. But by changing some basic habits around how we eat and what we eat, life can become just as enjoyable. Why not make a list of the reasons why you want to be slimmer and thinner and fitter and happier? You don't need to share that with anyone, just something that you can revisit when the going gets tough, to remind yourself why you're on this journey and why it's important to you to keep on going. Because weight loss takes time. Changing a lifetime of habits takes time. Identifying bad behaviours and replacing them with better behaviours. And reminding yourself that we don't have to be perfect, we just have to be good enough. If we can be good 90% of the time and 10% of the time we kind of deviate from our route, that's good enough. As long as it gets us to where we need to go, and as long as we just keep on going and don't give up completely. If you've enjoyed this video and you feel that you've learned something from hearing about my own experiences and some of the tools and ways that I've developed to help me continue to keep my weight off, then please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel, and that way you'll receive any updates when I next upload some content. And it would be also really good if you're happy to leave a comment below. Let's start a discussion with one another about how we're going to find maintenance without our GLP-1s, or if we're reducing the amount of GLP-1 we're taking. How is it? Has the food noise come back? Are we struggling to maintain our weight? Be great to hear from you, one way or another. And if there's anything else you'd like me to cover in a future video, then please do let me know. So my next video will look at the pause before eating skill, and also how to modify our portion sizes. How do we do that? I look forward to seeing you and sharing my ideas and thoughts with you.